We're in Cyprus, playing on the European Poker Tour. As ever, we're playing in huge fields for life-changing amounts of money. We're kicking off the series with a $1,100 main event where thousands of poker players will descend on that hall room to play for the grand prize of $400,000. And guess what? I'm one of them.
Coming up, I do battle against a former EPT main event champion. I face one of the toughest river decisions of the series, and I make one of the most outrageous river bluffs of my career so far. Here we go then, sports fans. First hand of the day. We're playing 100-100, nice and professional, nice and deep, in from the start. I've had a raise to 300 pre-flop. The button's called, and the big blind is called. The flop, bingo, ace-jack-6. Top pair for us, not a great kicker. Three ways, we're going to start with a check, and so's everybody else. The turn is a 6 of diamonds, and my opponent leads into us from the big blind. He's betting 500. He's going to have a decent amount of sixes. I don't think I can raise here. We're just going to call. When the river's a 10 of diamonds, I'm happy to see an early showdown, see what this guy's up to, and he's up to mucking the Jack 7-0. We're pulling in the first part of the day.
Today's my day.
We are now playing a limped pot, blind versus blind. 10-6 suited. I think we're going to limp very wide here, try and see as many flops as we can. As flops go, that's a pretty good one. 3 green cards, plus the 2 in my hand. That is a flush. We're betting 200, and my opponent makes the call. An innocuous brick, a 3 of spades, and we want more chips in the middle. We're trying to target an ace, of course, but we're also trying to target a king, a 9, maybe a high club. So we'll go 500, and our opponent would like to see a river. We're off to a river, and it's another very safe card. We could go massive here and try and get paid big time, but I still want to target all the weak pairs. I want to target a 9. I want to target a king. So we go for just 1100, hoping that he's a little bit too suspicious that he looks us up. And that is exactly what ends up happening. He flicks in 1100. After a little bit of a kerfuffle, whoops, I show down my flush. He indeed has a king, which may have folded to our bigger bet, so I'm happy. Even though the pot wasn't massive, we got paid 3 streets. We're still playing 100-100 here. I raise it up to 300, my opponent 3-bets to 900, and I decide that we want to see a flop with ace-jack. And it's a good one. Ace-7-5 two-tone. I check to him, and this is where he bets really small. Now this is a situation where I expect some bigger betting. We're quite deep and he'd want to get the chips in. So when he goes small, I don't believe that he's got a real one. I raise it up to 1700. As of right now, he's going nowhere. The turn is another 7. And whilst I don't think he has many 7s in his range, it can't hurt to pot control against ace-queen, ace-king. I check, and this is where he bets big. And whilst I am concerned about being dominated, I still think he's bluffing enough of the time that we have to make the call with ace-jack. And that is exactly what I do. Now, I'm sweating a river card. On the river, there's nearly 130 big blinds in this pot. I didn't expect things to get so heavy so fast, and should we face a river bet, I might be committing half of my chips on one of the very first hands of the day. Luckily for me, he doesn't. Check, check. I table my hand and await my fate. He tables pocket jacks, which I'm a little bit surprised to see, but I don't mind one bit, because right now, it's one-way traffic. Blinds are up. We're now playing 100-200, and with ace-queen under the gun, of course I'm having a raise. 500 chips. A lot of respect here. Call, call, small blind, call, big blind, call. Classic live poker stuff. We're going 5 ways to a flop. Not many sims are going to tell you how to play right here. Hopefully, we connect well. Alas, we do not. 6-5-3, 2 clubs, no choice but to check. But when I check, there's a check behind me, a check on the button, small blind, big blind, a free turn, and it's a 3. Here I take a bit of an unorthodox line. I decide to start clearing out some equities. It's not the end of the world if we fold out Jack 10, maybe 8-9 suited, so I go for a bet of 1100. And my plan? It's working. Until it's not. The button calls, but everybody else folds. Since this is the guy that checks back in position, I don't think he has many pairs. So when I check and he bets, I don't believe him, and I snap call before the cameras can catch up. I table my ace high, and we'll never know what he had because it lands face down in the muck. Ace queen in early position again, and of course we're going to bump it up. No shortage of good hands here to start the main event, and no shortage of customers too. We're raising, we're getting 2 callers, and it's 3 players to a flop. This time, the board's playing ball. It's ace 8-4, and when they both check to me, I'm going to continue my aggression from pre-flop. I bet 1100. Player in the small blind, who we bluff caught previously, is sticking around. He wants to do battle again. He wants to go heads up. And the turn, a 4. He checks again, and right now I'm in value mode. I'm trying to target all of his weaker ace-x hands. I'm trying to target his flush draws. I load up 4,000 chips. But I lose my customer. Looks like our buddy was floating a little bit wide on the flop and couldn't handle the heat on the turn. Do not adjust your television sets. The graphics are working just fine. I've just been dealt ace-queen once again. And once again, we're having a raise. We're off to a flop against a big blind. It's Jack 7-5. And when I miss, I decide to keep things simple. I bet 1,100, and unfortunately, my opponent sticks around. The turn, the deuce of spades. I do not have a spade in my hand. I don't like it. I check back. The river is a 4, and I still think I can sometimes show down a winner. I still feel a little bit too strong to bluff. I check back. It's bad news. 2 10s. We're going to lose the pot, but the pot we're losing is a small one, and we had to lose one at some point.
It's first break of the day. I've been playing phenomenally. I've gone from 30,000 to 40,000, averages 33k, so we're ahead of pace. I'm unstoppable. I'm shaking off cobwebs. Long day ahead, but I don't really see anything that can go wrong at this point. We've basically already bagged.
Action so thick and fast in this tournament, the cameraman could barely keep up.
Frags all in.
Someone has shoved 17,000 at 400, 800 from under the gun, and we woke up with queens. We made the call, we needed to fade 3 outs, and we did. The run out was clean, and so far, we've had a near perfect start in the 1K main event. We're up to 107,000 chips now, and this is where things get spicy. We're joined at the table by Simon Wicziak, an EPT main event champion and a fellow member of Pokerstars Team Pro. I raise, he 3-bets me, my hand's too strong to fold, we're off to a flop, and it's ace queen 7, dreamland. I flop a set. I check over to Simon, and he bets really small, just 4,000 on quite a coordinated board. I'm in dreamland right now, and there are so many easy ways for him to continue. I bump it up to 15,000 and start setting up stacks that I can bet turn and be all in at the river. But a nightmare. Simon must have had nothing, must have had a huge miss, because even a small raise and his hand's in the muck. And as I drag in the pot, I'm starting to believe. I'm starting to think, yeah, why can't I be an EPT champion? Maybe this year is the year of the Sprag. Right, we're not going to get too technical, but I've defended 7 deuce offsuit in the big blind. When it goes check, check, I don't think he's got much. I'm going to get small and start trying to fold out some of those ace highs. He sheepishly calls the turn, and I feel like my read is good. So when the river's a king, unless he has ace king, he's still sitting there with ace high. I think I want to value bet all my small pairs, so I go for a really cheeky 4.5k. He doesn't like it. I'm right, my read's good. But he calls. I table my hand, and he does indeed have ace-jack, but maybe the bet was too small. I was hoping he'd think I'd never bluff for this size, but of course, it's me, and I was.
What's up? We are flying. Set at the end of last break, unstoppable force. Turned out to be true. We have about 110k, 120k. About 4 starting stacks. Don't tell anyone, but it's because I've been getting dealt a lot of really good cards. They've been matching up with the cards in the middle. Just doing my thing, nice and chill, still first bullet. We're very in control.
Blinds are up, and my opponent raises in the low jack. I call in the small blind, and Ivan Banich calls in the big blind, with 3 ways to board, and what a great one it is. 9-3-3. My opponent bets 5,500, and because Ivan's behind me, I can't really raise. We'll just call, we'll see a turn, and it's a 7. And this is where things get spicy. He goes for a nice, chunky 20,000 bet. I think he can barrel some bluffs, I think he can barrel some worse 9s, so of course we're taking a river. And the river, a queen of hearts. The backdoor flush draw fills, and at this point, if he fires 3 barrels, I'm pretty ready to fold. But then, he bets just 18,000 chips. An irresistible price. I think that if he had a bluff, he would go all in. So most of the time, I don't give him credit for finding the bluffs for this small sizing, but my brain starts turning. What if he has ace 9? What if he's going for that extra milker? What if he has king 9 and he's going for that extra milker? So whilst I don't think he's bluffing, maybe we can chop. Maybe we can beat some value. Maybe all of that is far too optimistic. My head keeps telling me to fold. My heart kinda tells me to fold. You know what? I don't think he's ever bluffing in this sizing. I think if he's bluffing, he goes all in. So now for 18,000, surely he just has the goods. I think I have to lay it down. I'm gonna lay it down. Call. I changed my mind. The price was too good. I talked myself into it. And of course I get shown the bad news. He wasn't bluffing. He was on the flop. He was on the turn. But by the river, he made a queen. And credit where it's due to my opponent, he took the perfect sizing to get me to pay him off. It's time to get back on track, and I've got just the hand with which to do it. Pocket queens. We go for the raise, and the action is over to another shorter stack. After some deliberation, he shoves all in. This is a great spot. We snap call, and we're ready to be back where we once were, until we see his hand. What a disaster. He's got aces. We've run into a massive cooler here, and if I don't get any help, we're going to be left with crumbs. There's nothing we can do in this spot. That's just how poker goes sometimes. When your time is up, it's up. Until it isn't. Boom. A queen on the turn, but there's still a card to come. Don't do me dirty like this. And they haven't. Another queen on the river. Salt in the wounds for the aces, but my stack has gone from near decimated to thriving. Sometimes the poker gods shine upon you, and they have here. Aces cracked by 4 of a kind. It's death by quads, and I am right back in business.
Don't see shit like that online, do you?
I've barely stacked my chips from the last pot before I'm thrown into another massive hand. We're raising it up to 8,000, and it's time to do battle with Simon again. He got away last time when we had the pocket sevens, but on a flop of 9-6-5, I've got top pair, top kicker, and I've got Simon right where I want him. I bet 9,000, and it's over to him. He's reaching for chips, and he goes for the raise, 25,000. My hand is good, but it is vulnerable. It's best for me to get all the biscuits in the middle whilst I'm probably ahead. I jam, Simon snaps. He's got a huge draw. It's ace-8 of spades, so many outs. The queen of hearts is good. And so is the river, another 9. And just like that, we are sending an EPT champion packing. We've sent a very dangerous opponent to the rail, and with it, we're dragging in a huge pile of chips. We're well over 200,000 now. We are go karting.
I went all in with the best hand and held. So now I have many chips. 170, 180. 2K, 4K, 149 left, 107 paid. So hopefully a bag tonight, and then I can go jet skiing tomorrow or feed a cedar or something.
And here comes the bubble. The bubble means that we're close to the money. If just 10 more players bust, we're getting paid. This hand is very interesting. So interesting, in fact, that I spoke about it with my good friend and high-stakes crusher, Parker Tonkaaaap.
All right, here we are. We're back in the booth on the Spraggy vlog. I don't really know what I'm doing here. I've just woken up from a nap. I'm not in a great mood, and Spraggy's already calling with queens. Jesus Christ, what do we have here? Not a bad call, actually. 10 off the money, not off the money. Not a bad call, not a bad call. Preferred if we are the covered ones, but no issue with that. Little stab at it here. Small bet, 130. It looks like, okay, we're working. One call from the blinds, not a good turn. Not a good turn, I'll go ahead and say it. All right. A check from our opponent, quite scary. I do expect a lot of leading from out of position here, so I wouldn't hate barreling, but keeping the pot at a reasonable size. You know, Spraggy's a scared guy, he's probably gonna check, keep it small. He does check, okay. Even scarier river, 22,000, 20,000, 22,000 looks like. Graphics a little wrong there. Expect that on a Spraggy vlog. We show the queens like a fish as well. Yeah, okay. You know, no need to show the queens, but we did it. All right, next hand.
We've made it to the bubble, which means if one more person is eliminated, we make money. One entry, job done. We have about 120K blinds to 3K, 6K. Last year in Cyprus, I really did it off and stone bubbled this event. So I'm just taking it nice and easy. I'm gonna put these chips in a bag. I'm gonna cash for whatever it is, 2K, and I'm gonna go to bed.
We lost 2 players, 106 players left. Everybody of you of the 106 reached day 2, so this means you're all in the money and we are finished for today.
That's right, sports fans. One entry, one bag, net profit, whatever you get from in cash. It's an $1,100 entry here in Cyprus. Started at 12, level 1. I've been rewarded for my professionalism and cracking aces with queens, etc. Did lose a pot at the end of the day with queens against 5-7, where controversially I flatted pre-versus under the gun. I'm waffling, it's late. I played 12 hours of poker today and I get to play again on day 2, where we will be in the money. Good morning, everybody. Yesterday in the 1K main event, the bubble burst, which means that I am in the money. We've got 23 big blinds, and I have been known in the past to fire multiple bullets these things. I'm talking 7 or 8 entries, but this time, just 1, which means that we're in profit of $700 or $800. Up top is going to be about 400K, and of course, I get to take home that massive off trophy. Early levels today, lots of short stacks. People will be spinning, trying to find their double ups. I don't really need to. I've got 23 bigs, so hopefully you guys are in for a long day and a big sweat as we march towards day 3 in the main event. Let's play some cards. We do have a notable at the table. Leo Worthington-Lees, fellow UK gamer. Play with him a little bit online and live, actually. But other than that, mostly unknown to me players. Maybe I know some people by faces. And this is me, somewhere. Hello. Hi. 2 to my left, huh? 2 to my left with 340K. Be fine. 2 big stacks to my left. So I'm caged a little bit. But not really. What are they going to do? I got 20 bigs. What are they going to do? Huh? What are they going to do to me? I raise their all in, I call, you know? Now I have 40 bigs. Game on. We're actually going back to 2K, 5K. So yeah, I actually finished at 3.6. So we've got even more wiggle room. That's 23.2 big blinds. You're in the comments right now. Actually, Spraggy, it's 23.2. Just get out of those comments, right? And subscribe whilst you're there. Click the button.
Starting the day with a bang. The button raises to 11,000. We jam King Jack straight back into his face. I'm not taking any nonsense today. We're protecting our big blind. We're scooping the pot, and nice and early, we added chips to that overnight stack. Here we go again. Playable hand on the button. 10-9 suited. We're fairly shallow, so I'm just going to bump it up for a min raise. We pump it to 10,000. My opponent makes a call in the small blind, and I fully expect the big blind to come along, but when they fold, we're heads up to a flop. It's ace, king, jack. I've got a straight draw, a backdoor flush draw, and I've got a ticket being waved in my face. Not gonna lie, a little bit distracting. I feel like I'm next to a big wind turbine, but in more ways than one, I'm keeping my cool. I bet 10,000, my opponent makes a call, and at this point, I'm planning to give up. The turn is a 9, she checks, she wafts a ticket in my face, and I check back. The turn is a deuce. The fans are still on full blower, but I feel like my hand has been blown out the water. I did turn a pair, but it's not very appealing, so when she bets 37,000, she's pushing me out the pot. She's waving me away, and I'm ready to let it go. Eventually, I fold. Some of our early momentum is gone, but it's just a small one. After a few more orbits and paying a few more blinds, we've got Queen 10 in the big blind. We defend 3 ways and we're off to a flop. It's ace high and it's not great, but my opponent bets just 8,000. I'm gonna have to stick around. I call. The turn is a club. It fills the flush and we're getting even unhappier because of the lack of club in our hand. But on the turn, hope. It goes check, check. And on the river, I make 2 pair. I don't think we can bet here because of the clubs. I check again, table my hand, but it's not the winner. My opponent checked back the turn with ace queen, made a better 2 pair, checks it behind for a frustrating pot that is going to leave me down to just 44,000 chips. We need help, and fast. Well, we asked for help and there it is, pocket kings. Leo's had a raise in early position, player to his left called, and now I'm hoping that Leo is about to double me back up, about to get me back to 100k. And there he goes. Thank you, mate. He's penciling out the chips. He's going to call me off. Player to his left quickly folds, and he tables pocket jacks. Nice. A cooler, but we're a big favorite to be right back in the game. Still going to have a short stack, but kings versus jacks, that's about as good as it gets. Ace 5-4, 5, jack. Right. Time for me to have a little word with my mate.
Fuck you, Leo. You know what? Hey, nice hand. Fair to say, disaster. As day twos go, you've just heard me hopefully having a long day with me, but it hasn't happened, has it? Because Leo Worthington Lees has hit a jack on the river. That's what he does sometimes. So we're out, but this is a quick, brief glimpse into what we're doing here in Cyprus. We've got plenty more tournaments coming up. Obviously, the 5K main event, the EPT main event is still to come. So plenty more vlogs on the way from Cyprus. From everywhere else, if you enjoyed this video, like, comment, rate, subscribe. See you next time.
On a quick side note, Leo Worthington Lees took my chips at the start of day 2, but by the end of day 3, he used them to crown himself champion. He lifted the trophy and first place prize, so congratulations to Leo on becoming the Eureka main event champion.